Nobel Prize. Okay.
Much for coming, and let me just offer brief welcoming remarks to our distinguished guests. As you all know, we're very honored to have the NASA Administrator Nelson here, along with the head of the Italian Space Agency, Saccoccia, who's sitting to my left, and we're also very honored to have the Deputy Administrator Melroy to my right. The U.S. and Italy have an incredibly long history of space collaboration. This is just one of those moments that we take to honor it and to celebrate it, but it goes back over 65 years, and it's a consequential relationship, everything from space industry collaboration to the collaboration on policy issues. So we're very honored that you have joined us here today. We've got a great event for you coming up, so instead of standing in the way of that, let me just turn it over now, and welcome to the astronauts.
Capcom, this is Bill Nelson in Rome. We are ready. Are you ready?
Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Station is ready for the event.
Administrator Nelson, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Station, this is Bill Nelson. I'm calling you for a check.
We have you loud and clear, sir. How about us?
You are very good. Okay, let's proceed. Station, I'm here with Deputy Administrator Pam Melroy, and I'm here with the Italian Space Minister, also ASI President Saccoccia, and we are in Rome to meet with the Italian leadership following a very successful ESA Council meeting in the Netherlands earlier this week. I want to thank you for giving us the time. Needless to say, this is well noted in Rome because of Samantha on board. So I'm going to ask the first question to Jessica. Why don't you give everybody a glimpse into all of the kind of scientific work that you are doing on the International Space Station? Jessica, over to you.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a pleasure to be speaking with all of you today. We have the privilege of doing lots of different science experiments up here using the International Space Station as the laboratory that it is. One of the neatest parts about the ISS is being able to use microgravity as an environment to really be able to kind of drill down, isolate variables, and do scientific experiments in a new way. So especially when we think about material science, combustion type of work, as well as fluid dynamics, plant growth, those types of cell biology, those types of experiments, really being able to utilize this microgravity environment that we have uniquely on the ISS allows us to really investigate new questions in new ways. another piece of the science that we're able to do up here is really to investigate the effects of long-duration space flight on the human body, which will obviously be important. It is important now for us, as well as in the future as we start to explore further and further into the solar system. So we become the test subjects ourselves and learn about how the human body responds to this unique environment. We also are able to use the ISS as a test bed to test new technologies in addition to our scientific experiments. And those technologies are what will lead the way to the moon and to Mars as NASA looks towards the Artemis program to institute some of those technologies. So we really is a privilege to be up here, to be able to participate in the kind of groundbreaking scientific work that we're doing up here.
That's so cool. It's just wonderful to see you guys. I love to see your smiling faces. This is Pam, the Deputy Administrator. I also want to point out that we have ESA Director General Josef Aschbacher with us as well, but I'm going to slip in a question quick. Thanks for waving. I saw you wave. My question's for Kjell. Can you tell us a little bit more about your perspective about how the work you're doing on station from 400 kilometers above our heads, how is that benefiting humanity and our daily life here on Earth?
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to be talking with you all, and as Jessica mentioned, you know, a lot of our research is looking at how the human body changes in this weightless and space flight environment. And while we are studying a lot of these things to better prepare ourselves for the long missions that we have ahead, going back to the moon and then in the future going to Mars, a lot of our research is directly aimed at benefiting life back on Earth. For example, this particular environment, weightlessness, and the spaceflight environment, including radiation and the temperature, the atmosphere, all has changes on the human body, which we are as Jessica mentioned, test subjects for. And a lot of the changes that we see in the human body mimic some of the disease processes that we see on Earth, muscle atrophy, bone loss. We see advanced aging in the immune system, and there are pieces of this that scientists can use to better understand the pathophysiology and develop treatments for diseases back on Earth. We have a water reclamation system where we recycle close to 96–97% of our water to, again, not only sustain a long duration mission, but that ability to recycle water, to take essentially dirty water and make it potable, is something that is incredibly valuable on Earth, where so many of our populations don't have access to clean water. Unfortunately, a lot of this research takes time to develop, and an example of that, this environment, this weightless environment, provides an amazing test bed for studying protein growth and crystal growth. And some of that study resulted in insights into an incurable genetic disease on the Earth called Duchenne muscular dystrophy. And the Japanese scientists have taken that information, that understanding, to develop therapeutics that can slow the process of that disease by half, increasing the lifespan of those who are afflicted with this disease, essentially doubling their lifespan. So pharmaceutical companies have taken that information and are now currently in phase 3 trials, and hopeful that we'll see that released in around the 2027 timeframe.
I mean, this is really so amazing. Hello, this is Josef Aschbacher. He's Director General, and I'm calling from Austria remotely. I would love to be with you in Rome. It would be very nice. And really hello from my side here to Kjell, Bob, Jessica, and Samantha. The reason I'm here is because I was asked at university to give a speech, a commencement speech to young fresh graduates from a university, and this, of course, is always a very special moment for them. It was a fantastic event. It is really always good to see the reaction of the young people. Some of them told me that they want to become an astronaut. And Samantha, as you perfectly know, last year, ESA made a call for astronaut applications for the first time since 2008, when you actually applied and you were chosen afterwards. This year we received a record 23,000 applications for the call we did last year, and we're going through the selection process right now. I will select the final candidates in a few months, and then we will make the public announcement in November this year. So, Samantha, what advice would you have for the new astronaut candidates when they are selected? And what advice would you have for future candidates who might aspire to become an astronaut?
Yes, first of all, good afternoon to Austria, and good afternoon to everyone in Rome. A pleasure to talk to you all from Space Station. Yes, indeed. So we are in the final phases of the our new astronaut selection, and so I'm very much looking forward to meet our new colleagues when I get back on Earth, or a few months after that. But in terms of young people who might aspire to become astronauts one day, I always say that I think it's important as you grow up to really challenge yourself. So try and really do things that maybe you're a little bit scared of, or that you think you're not quite up to yet, because that's the way that you grow, that you learn new skills, new competence, you acquire new competence and knowledge, but also you build your character, and you understand that you can do hard things, you can learn new things, you can push your limits. And I think that's a little bit part of then going through an astronaut selection maybe one day, or being trained as an astronaut. I always also tell them to try and learn a lot of diverse things, to try their hand at many different things, and it can be their main specialty, maybe in a STEM subject, but also in sports, but also maybe in volunteering, also maybe in expeditions, travel in expeditionary environments, anything that can develop teamwork skills. All of that is something that we certainly look for in astronaut candidates.
Thank you, Samantha. Let me just say how nice it is to see the four of you I still have in my eyes the image of the four of you at the preparation facility in Kennedy when we visited you with Joseph just before the launch, the day before Samantha's birthday. And you have the same smile, but you are simply in a different and more exciting environment. And actually, talking about this environment, maybe I have a question to Bob. I would like to ask you, Bob, can you tell us something about the climate instruments on the station, and how those instruments are providing us a better understanding on how the climate here on Earth is changing?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for that question, sir. Yeah, one of the unique things about the International Space Station is the orbit that we're in, and because of the inclination of our orbit, we cover a very, very large portion of the Earth on a daily basis, and so we get to get multiple looks at different parts of the Earth, and we see those multiple times a day. So one of the best instruments that we have up here, in my opinion, is our eyeballs. So looking out the window and being able to see the Earth as it changes, and that is truly a privilege, but it is also an opportunity for us to notice and see the way the Earth is changing, whether there be natural phenomena going on, natural disasters, things like that. We have the capability to get near real-time photography and imagery of that kind of thing just by looking out the window, taking our pictures with our own cameras or with the onboard cameras that are external here to the space station. In addition to that, we have lots of different instruments that are looking down at the Earth, measuring things like sea height, and we have a new payload coming up here in the next several days called EMIT, which is going to be looking at the content of dust in arid regions, and the way that dust gets transmitted by the winds to different parts of the world, and the effects that dust can have on the climate, the populations, and the vegetation in those different areas. So the opportunities are endless up here. We've got a very unique vantage point up here to observe the Earth and the way it's changing.
Thank you, Bob. And well, it seems I have the privilege to be given the opportunity for another question. And of course, I can't miss the opportunity to give it to Samantha, our Italian pride in orbit in this moment. Samantha, can you talk about the importance of international collaboration and how this has bolstered the work both on station and on ground for Europe and Italy?
Yes, I think that when it comes to human space exploration, international cooperation is just a multiplier of opportunities. If we pull our resources together, then every participant can focus on what they do best, and then we can integrate the skills and the expertise, and really also the sheer resources that everybody can pitch in, and so we can achieve more. Now, there's also challenges associated with running a project internationally, right? The coordination effort becomes a lot more complicated, and that is a fact. But I do think that the space station has shown that it is possible, and it's really a legacy of space station. One of the important legacies of space station to have shown how that can be done, and over time also how those processes can be improved and how we can maximize the benefit without being hindered too much by the coordination complexity that big international projects require. It's also, I think, always a beacon of hope and something to be hopeful about for the future when we can see that it's possible and it's valuable to cooperate across countries, across cultures all over the world, and that can even be continued and sustained and maintained with goodwill, even in times when there is conflict. And so I think that that is all incredibly valuable.
Well, I can't miss the opportunity to let you guys know that one of our colleagues is here in the room with us, Paolo Nespoli, an Italian ESA astronaut who actually we flew together on his first flight. I'm looking at the station and thinking how much it's changed. I guess my question is for Jessica, because it's all new to you, and what surprised you about the station? How did you feel when you got that first view of the Earth out of the cupola?
Yeah, it's something that we talk a lot about here. What has been surprising and new to myself and to Bob, and what has felt more like home, a homecoming of sorts for Chell and Samantha. It is kind of a strange consignment of things. So it is at the same time very familiar. We have excellent mock-ups and instructors on the ground that really prepare us, to a point where when we come up here, the equipment that we're working with, the environment that we're working in general feels very familiar. However, at the same time, of course, being in microgravity is the most unfamiliar that we've ever experienced. So learning to kind of adapt to that environment while still all yet feeling somewhat familiar is kind of an interesting dichotomy, and is something that maybe surprised me a bit.
Hey guys, it's back to me. Would you like to go further? You're 200 plus miles above the Earth. We're getting ready to launch a rocket. It's going out there to 230,000 miles. And then we want to go with humans. We want to go millions and millions of miles all the way. Are you all game for that?
Yeah, I think we're going to be elbowing each other to get the front of line on that one. Absolutely, we are all ready to go. I know our entire office is ready to support the entire effort that it takes to get there, and we're excited. The fact that NASA is leading the way in this collaboration with all of our international partners to do this amazing thing, which is the next step in exploration, which is the Artemis program. So we are 100% ready to go, and we're really excited to see what the future holds.
So as we close out, would you show people how you have to reprogram your brain, as Pam and I did years ago? If you want to get from point A to point B on the station or in your spacecraft, you have to think about it and you have to pull or push yourself. Can you give the folks back home a little demonstration of how you do that? Because you can't just swim where you are. Go ahead, Commander.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, sir. It is an amazing thing when you first experience weightlessness, as you well know. And I think one of the most amazing things is how quickly our brains adapt to it. The fact that we grow up in an environment where gravity is a constant, it is permeates everything, and that we can come up to this environment, and really within hours and days, it's not even a second thought. There's no I think within a day there was no expectation that I would ever walk up here in the space station. You float. That's what you do. Now when you first get up here, you don't float very well, but over time, really within 4 to 6 weeks, I think, watching these guys go from just being exposed to it to now moving around like pros is really cool. But you do have to plan ahead. If you push off and head for something and then you miss a handrail, you end up careening into equipment or people. But I think Farmer wants to do a demonstration of a backflip here for us on the handrail.
Oh, this is going to be terrible.
Nice.
Nicely done. And of course, we can use our hands, we can use our feet we have these blue handrails that you see around station. We hook our feet under those to stay in place or to push off, or we grab on the handrails to turn. It's a pretty neat demonstration of physics, the Newton's laws of physics every day.
Okay, Houston, I guess we better turn it back over to you. Otherwise, we'll have them doing all kind of flips and sailing like Superman and all of that. You guys look great. You're obviously staying very fit. We are very grateful to you for your service to humankind. So God bless you, and we'll look forward to talking to you on the next uplink.
Thank you so much. It's such a privilege to be a part of this team and to have this opportunity to talk with you all. We wish you the best.
Station, this is Houston ACR. Thank you. That concludes our event.
Thank you to the Administrator, Deputy Administrator, and all participants. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communication.